There are two different ways in which we can go about developing ourselves. And I'm going to make the case here that one of these ways, and the most common way, can only be incrementally helpful. And that's horizontal development. But there's another form of development that's more rare, that's called vertical development. And if we employ vertical development, that can be transformationally helpful. And these are different. Horizontal development is about improving our knowledge, skills, and abilities. It's like adding an app onto an iPad. It can be helpful, again, incrementally helpful, because it broadens that iPad's functionality. It can do more. But it can't necessarily operate any better. It's not going to operate any more quickly. It's not going to be able to handle more complex things. That's what vertical development is all about. The technical definition of vertical development is elevating our ability to make meaning of our world in more cognitively and emotionally sophisticated ways. And I'll unpack that for you in just a moment. But the focus here isn't on doing more. The focus is on being better. This is elevating. We're not downloading an app onto an iPad. We're upgrading that iPad's internal operating system. Or in greater reality, we're upgrading our own internal operating system. Because what we're actually doing when we vertically develop is we're connecting into our body's neural system. And what we're going to be doing when we vertically develop is we expand our window of tolerance. So that when stress, pressure, uncertainty, and complexity occur, we don't get thrown outside of our window of tolerance. We're able to stay within, we're able to stay level-headed and operate in more cognitively and emotionally sophisticated ways. Let me give you an example of this. How would you say that most people respond to constructive criticism? Well, I think most people get defensive. Well, why do they get defensive? It's because they make meaning of it as an attack. And if we make meaning of a constructive criticism as an attack, of course we're going to get defensive. But that's not the only way that we can make meaning of constructive criticism. We can make meaning of constructive criticism as a gift. That this is an opportunity for us to learn and grow and deepen our self-awareness. And when we see it that way, we're not going to get defensive. We're actually going to approach it. We're going to encourage it because it allows us to get better. And that's more cognitively and emotionally sophisticated. But to get there, we've got to have a wider window of tolerance. We've got to be okay with being told that we are bad. And that's just not easy to do. But we can get there. And that's what vertical development is all about, getting us there. Another way to think about these two different forms of development is we can evaluate ourselves, right? How much knowledge do we have? How much skills do we possess? And when we think about those two things, what we're really talking about is how much knowledge do we have or what skills can we do? But what I'm suggesting, and that's where we're normally at, but what I'm suggesting is that we could also focus on something deeper. And that's our being. And that's what we focus on with vertical development. And that's why vertical development can be transformational and why horizontal development can only be incrementally helpful.